It's time for qualifying for round 13 of the MotoGP World Championship. We are here at the Misano World Circuit Marco Simoncelli, and it's qualifying to decide the grid for the sprint and the Grand Prix of San Marino. Hello everybody, welcome to qualifying. The atmosphere is building and the tension is rising. Let's head down to Susie Perry and the team as well. First of all, to Hervé Ponchero with the latest news.
This track, because of they also train a lot here with the street bikes. There's a very few chance for us to succeed, but we will fight for it anyway. So yeah, confident to getting better and better, race by race, day by day. So our goal is to perform every day, every race. But our goal is the big one is in I wouldn't say long term, but not now.
Last question, Francesco. Every weekend you want to be on the top step, you want to be fighting for that, but how important is Monday's test for the future of KTM?
Yeah, I mean, in the last 10 years, maybe the Monday test here in Misano is a key moment for the future. So yeah, we missed already the Mugello test. That was important, but because of the weather forecast, we missed it completely. And Monday, yeah, there's a massive load of work for everyone, and will be important. Will be very, very important.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, a pivotal day on Monday at the test here in Misano, but let's turn our attentions back to Saturday and Q1. Michael rejoining me here. It's quite interesting this, because two going through, we could see that he felt like Brad is really confident that he can make it through, because he missed out by, like I said, 100th of a second, but the top three in Q1 are literally hundredths of a second apart. That's Brad, Aleix Espargaro, and who got caught in traffic yesterday, and Paul, his brother Espargaro. They are all, I mean, within a gnat's, aren't they?
They are, and Brad should be in there. Looking at how yesterday afternoon sort of developed, he was always inside the top 6, top 7, probably actually more towards top 4, but just a little bit off the GP24 Ducatis. So work to do overnight, because he typically does miss that little bit. You put a new tyre in and he just can't find those extra 1/10 and a half, 2/10 of a second that are out there. But the margins around here are so tight. So you mentioned it really is so close. So you put it together, you get a good marker up front, and all of a sudden you're breezing through to Q2. You've got a top 4 grid position start, and all of a sudden your weekend changes. So yeah, pressure's on this one.
We've got Digi as well on a Ducati. You know, does he have a decent chance of getting through in this, do you think?
He does, but he's been under the weather all weekend, a little bit below par. He's carrying the shoulder injury, and we talk about the fast right-handers. His left shoulder's a little bit weak. He can't really force the bike to submit to what he needs it to do around here. So I think it's a bit of an ask. One lap, you can bite the screen. Does he have it all weekend? I would say no. He's fighting the pain barrier.
We've got the ultimate screen biter in Aleix Espargaro. Who are your two picks then to go through?
I've got to say Aleix and Brad should be making their way through, but it's not a foregone conclusion. I think Aleix, the Aprilia, it's working, and he will want to deliver here today. It never is.
Let's go over to commentary then and see their picks. Neil is alongside Gav. You can only pick 2, Neil.
Yeah, he's already talking about 8 riders he thinks who are going to go through. Paul Espargaro could be a thorn in his brother's side.
Yeah, I'm saying definitely Paul.
Right? Yeah.
And I'm going to go for a wild card here, and I might surprise you. I'm going to go for Digi. He's not had a good weekend at all. He has been off the pace, but I think he'll be able to muster one lap.
Ingilt in there, down in Alex Rins' garage. Lovely wearing of the helmet from Ian. He just gave the big thumbs up for Alex Rins to get out onto the circuit. Top 10 finish for him last time out back in Aragon, which was really nice to see. I wonder if he can get through into Q2. It would be actually the 4th time this year that Alex were to make it.
Alex Marquez could get through as well. He could have a lap in him.
So that's 4 now we're on. Riders that you mentioned. 131.
Yeah, well, that's always the way it's going at the moment, isn't it? Well underway then for the qualifying session here at the Misano World Circuit San Marino. Now in this session, it's Jan Zarco, Stefan Bradl, Luca Marini, Ralph Fernandez, Takiki Nakagami, Brad Binder, Augusto Fernandez, Alicia Spargro, Alex Rins, Paul Espargaro, Fabio Di Giannantonio, Alex Marquez, and Miguel Oliveira. Now this is actually the hardest weekend to try and work out who the top riders are going through, because all of them have been underperforming in my eyes across the 3 sessions so far this weekend. So I think, looking right now, the top 2 going through will be Paul Espargaro and Alex Marquez. That's my money. I think that. So we'll see if it happens or not. It's going to be quite entertaining. But we'll have the usual qualifying format where they head out onto the circuit. They'll do 2 runs, come back into the pit lane, about 6.5 minutes to go, and then go out with 3 and allow the track to grip and rubber up. But it is actually being quite a nice track so far. It's not being as bad as what we usually see it is. So we should be okay. Digi's up. These are the banker lap times coming in. 291 kilometers an hour right now. As he comes through out of turn 11, it's 12, 13 and 14. Controls the slides nicely. I say Alex and Paul to get through, same as you, Josh. Yeah, see, if essentially, mate, Sean, if you're thinking the same as me, I think we're on the same wavelengths, because I can't see how anybody else would get through in that situation. Let's see what the opening lap times give us, though, here at Mazzano for the San Marino Grand Prix. Di Giannantonio is a 131.574. Alex Marquez is coming up towards the line, a 131.596, so he's down by 22 thousandths. Zarco's a 131, he goes third. Bradl, well, 133, 416 for him. Here comes Paul Espargaro, though, 28 thousandths up in the third sector. Across the line, pole is fourth only, 131.699. Nakagami goes fifth, so we're still in opening gambits between the two. And yeah, this is, well, Digi's improving already actually as well, so sort of up and down movements at the moment. Oliveira's a 132.639, Binder's a 131.706, Augusto Fernandez 131.709, just 3 thousandths of a second between Binder and Fernandez, 7 thousandths between Paul Espargaro and Binder, 3 thousandths between Zarco and Paul Espargaro. The entire chart, as you can see directly above my head, is just going absolutely nuts with it. That is amazing stuff. Digi's improving as well in the sector times, so we'll keep our eyes peeled there. 10th up for Digi. Alex is 3 tenths up. Zarco 31 thousandths up, so 300ths of a second the difference at the moment. Paul Espargaro's fast in the second sector as well. Up to the line we come then for Fabio Di Giannantonio. Rising up across the striped line, it's a 131.472. He goes faster by a tenth of a second. Alex Marquez does 2.5 tenths faster. It's a 131.243. Much better lap time there for Alex. Zarco goes third. Paul Espargaro 46 thousandths up at the moment as he comes towards the line on the Red Bull KTM. Pole second, 131.471. Binder is looking good. He's 77 thousandths up. So that's 700ths of a second as Aleix Espargaro's down by a tenth. Now 800ths of a second. Here comes Binder towards the line though. Oliveira goes seventh. Binder goes top by a tenth of a second. 95 thousandths to be exact. It's a 131.148. So it's Binder, Marquez, Pole. The top 3 at the moment. Here comes Aleix Espargaro. 11th at the moment on the deck with the Aprilia. Goes up to third. So 131.339. Amazing lap times coming through in those first stints. Alex Rins goes into 9th place as well. Everyone on a cool down lap now then, just getting used to it and just sort of holding it together. 1,000th of a second between Alex and Aleix. It's insane. Yeah, they've changed now though. Amazing lap times. There's Francesco Guidantoli as well, who we heard from in the pre-show. And everyone now coming into the pit lane, changing tyres and bikes and ready to go again. Alex Marquez is in as well. Interesting opening gambit. Let's check in with the team.
And Alicia Spargo crashed out right at the end of the time practice yesterday, so you weren't quite sure where to put him. You know, we talked about Pecco Bagnaglia's injuries, but Alex Marquez isn't walking around full of the joys of summer after his crash last week.
Yeah, he got proper beaten up as well, didn't he? So, yeah, he'll feel the same. Even though you've got no major injury, as in no broken bones, you're all battered and bruised. I mean, the leathers can only do so much. Especially when you get tangled up with a bike like he did, like they both did. It was very, very ugly.
Yeah, we get so blasé sometimes about it, don't we? Because they do walk away from those incidents, but they're hitting the ground at 100 miles an hour. It's not onto foam, it's onto rocks. And they, you know, the bike's running over them, throwing them, flipping them through the air. You know, they do have the back protector, they've got an airbag here and there, but then it's just a layer of leather between themselves and rocks. And it's easy. I know you won't forget it because you've been through it in your career enough time, but it's easy for us on the outside to forget that when the riders are standing up.
Sure, it's also easy just to forget after one race weekend what that takes out of you. Your hands are blistered, your body's aching, and then you're straight back the weekend after. It's as if you've not even crashed. Yeah, honestly, it takes so much out of you. These bikes are incredibly physical, and they're even harder now than they've ever been. They've got more power. They've got all this aero, which creates downforce, which creates even more G-force. It makes the bikes heavier when you're changing direction from left to right. It's like a fight. And then you come to the tight, twisty Misano. It's a narrow track. It's a grippy track. Actually, that makes it even harder because it creates more G-force, more forces through the bike to change direction. It is so physical. And then because it's a short lap, it then brings the lap times close together. Like I just said, we've got 0.3 covering the top 6 in this session. It's nothing. Sorry, 0.3 covering the top 7 in this session. It's hard, and that's why it's a head game. You have to be mentally strong to keep that inner belief. That focus, so intense.
Ralph Fernandez heads out. He is having a stinking weekend all round. 21st in time practice yesterday, 21st yesterday morning, 22nd, only Stefan Bradl behind him in the free practice 2 just now, and only Bradl behind him in this session. He's got a huge day on Monday because he's the only Aprilia rider who's staying with the factory for next year.
He's been really average since he got that contract. He started to do, as you always put, the green shoots. It looked like he was making progress. He got the 2-year deal in his back pocket, and it looks like he's rolled off. I know it sounds, he won't have rolled off, but the results haven't been there. And actually, when you look at his MotoGP career, having had such a successful Moto2 career, as in that one season, did he win 8 races in his rookie season in Moto2? Is unheard of.
None better.
So, but it's just not happened.
And it's also coincided with him getting the 24 package, hasn't it?
That's a fair point.
And I do
that
feel
is a
like
really good point.
Oliveira struggled a bit in the satellite team. I think I've heard Wilco Zeelenberg is not going to be there next year. And one thing that Oliveira talked about is being a satellite team, when you're getting the factory bikes, is how that works and how the team get the most out of it when you haven't got 30 data engineers, you haven't got people, you know, writing software programs for you overnight, be able to do this kind of thing, you know? It really is hard.
Yeah. It's one of those situations, sadly, where you just got to keep an eye on the pair of them. But I just had a momentarily lost earphone in my ear. Let's just get me a bit more level, otherwise I look like I'm not taking up half the screen, which is really weird. So everyone now on their out laps. This will be setting up for their 2 push laps. They'll do 1 push lap, back off, and then do another push lap with 4 minutes to go. Everyone out. Well, actually, it's quite interesting. They've all gone for a new soft rear, but they've all kept the medium fronts the same. They've all done the same amount of distance, as you can see on the monitor. So interesting there. D'Antonio's being followed by the 73. That's Alex Marquez. Despite the fact he rolled off, Alex rolled off as well. So there wants to be a toe between the two as they exit now and out of the last corners. And away we go on more qualifying lap times I'll stand up at the end of Q2 in that lot, but I'm just trying to save my ankles, which are having a bit of problems at the moment. SHT, hello. Jack Miller got into Q2 automatically, whereas Brad Binder's not through is a rare scene. Zarco, always... Oh, and down goes Paul Espargaro! He has crashed at turn 8! Lost the front and drifted into the gravel. Second crash in as many sessions. He just went down in free practice 2. I know you haven't seen that if you're watching us on JB Motorsports, the main channel, but if you watch us on Twitch and JB Motorsports 2, you would have seen that in free practice. So that is Paul Espargaro out, and he won't get back to the pit anytime, so Paul won't go through. Brad Binder, on the other hand, was fastest in the first and second sector, averaged only 8 thousandths down in the third across the line. Brad, 18 thousandths down. But now we're getting lap times cancelled by the stewards. Well, yeah. It's one of those days, unfortunately. Oliveira, 8th. And there's Pole walking back. A lace out too. Let's have a look. So it's down into turn 8. Got the drone shot. Front just buckles mid-corner and it just drags him off like a piece of string pulling him off. Very bizarre. Lap time cancelled for Alex Marquez, Zarco, Marini, Bradle, D'Antonio, Rins due to the yellow flag. And now the 41 as well of Aleix Espargaro. So they're all being cancelled for the yellow flags. That's unfortunate for Paul. It's SHT. Massively unfortunate for Paul. It's one of those days, unfortunately. Binder's up, though, by 0.129. Zarco's lost his lap time as well for track limits. Binder is finding some improvements out here on the circuit. They've got to take care. They can't afford to risk and run it away. Field's actually improving out here. Lap time cancelled for the 6 due to exceeding track limits. Binder into the last corner. He's 2/10 up. This has been a stellar upgrade for Brad Binder up to the line, and it's a 1:30.908. 0.240 faster. Here comes Oliveira, 8th only, 1:31.543. Not finding any delta there, unfortunately. They just take time, relax, find what works. Don't overthrow it away. Sadly, it looks like that's going to be the situation throughout all of this event so far. Alex Marquez, 98 thousandths down. Be very surprised if he doesn't get through on a Ducati that's so fast. He's now a race winner this year. He's up towards the line with 30 seconds to go. Alex Marquez goes fastest by 5 thousandths of a second to Brad Binder. It's a 1:30.903. Compared to the 9:08 that Binder did. Aleix doesn't improve, 1:31.246. Binder is average across the two sectors. 0.06 of a second down at the moment, so he's again not finding much time. They fly in. Binder pulls that throttle back as well. Lap time cancelled for the 25 of Raul Fernandez for a shortcut into the last corner. Boot it hard. Checkered flags are flying. Binder takes the flag. Is he through automatically? Well, at the moment he's second. Raul Fernandez goes 9th. Augusto Fernandez goes 7th. Paul Espargaro already into the pit lane. He'll play no further part in this event. Lap time cancelled for the 88 of... for the 88 actually. Miguel Oliveira for track limits. Nakagami goes 12th. Digi could be a surprise here. Digi's got the first sector looking good. Second sector for Aleix also on the marks. As they turn in once more. Boots it hard. Is he going to find anything on the deltas? That's what you've got to sort of maintain. Just holding it through. Up to the line. And Fabio D'Antonio goes 4th. Rins 10th. Aleix, can he break through? 8 thousandths of a second between them. 3rd. Doesn't improve. I think that's it. Everyone, yeah, Marini stays 11th. That's it then for the first session. The two going through are Alex Marquez and Brad Binder. Starting 13th is Aleix Spargro, 14th for Fabio Di Gianantonio, 15th Polo Spargro, 16th Johan Zarco, 17th Augusto Fernandez, 18th Miguel Oliveira, 19th Ralph Fernandez, 20th Alex Rins, 21st Luca Marini, 22nd for Takino Okami, 23rd for Stefan Bradl. That's how it's going to work out so far. Really interesting session then for Alex and Brad to go through. Bradl down in 23rd position there. He's got a lot of work to do. So, not a bad session. Q2 coming up soon. And that's going to be how we decide who's going to be where. Is Brad through? Brad is through. Brad is through. Alex and Brad are the top two into Q2. So, fantastic stuff across that line. Well, I was expecting more changes between them, to be honest with you, but that's how it works out sometimes. Alex Marquez, the benchmark is a 1:30.903. What can we see later on in the session? Getting ready to head down to Susie Perry and Michael Laverty in the pit lane, paddock area. We take a look at Misano, the motorway just alongside this wonderful circuit. I love Misano. It's a small circuit, but it's fantastic as well. Alex Marquez, 1:30.903. He's the fastest in this session. For Binder as well. Let's head down to the paddock and join Susie Perry for the latest news. Down to you, Susie.
Yeah, extraordinarily tight. And I think Alex, carrying the battered body that he has got from that injury, precluded us from talking about him really and going through, which was wrong because clearly he had something in his pocket there.
Yeah, and I'm guilty of overlooking Alex at times because he's there, he's on the fringes. We didn't see a lot from him on Friday afternoon, but then he delivered today. So he put the lap together, as Neil and Gavert said. He's battered, he's the walking wounded. He made it all happen in the last two corners because he knows exactly from the data from his teammate and brother Mark how to execute the last sector, and he put it together. But the margins are so close around here, so yeah, fair play to Alex. He's delivering again. He's always there, slightly under our radar. We probably, like I said, I do underrate him sometimes, but yeah, you should never count him out.
No, and you do wonder whether this is a case where that data is so vital because Bagnaia is so incredible in that sector 3, and the Ducati boys, you know, have got that at their disposal, haven't they? And do you think that could have played a part in this?
Yeah, I do believe.
Or do you think it was a conversation with Mark?
Well, it'll be a little bit of everything because Mark will have been going through the data, and as he said, between Aragon and this weekend, he stopped looking at the data and making changes based on what Jorge Martin and Pecco were doing. So now they're going their own route. The GP23 works in a different way. Mark's learned a way to do it, and obviously that translates across. A harmonious team is the data sharing across, and because they're brothers, there's a vested interest for Mark to assist Alex. So you will get that extra little bit of a nugget of information or set up data that perhaps you would shield a little bit because you always want to beat your teammate. But when it's your brother, there's an open conversation. So it's nice to see Alex delivering, and nice for the Gresini team at home. This is their home race. So yeah, both in Q2 this afternoon.
Of course, you have great experience of that as well with your brothers being in the same field as you. But Francesco Guidotti from KTM was right in having the confidence in Brad. But I tell you what, it was so tight at the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, Brad laid it down straight away, and then he knew he couldn't rest on that, so he dug deep, went again. But the KTM's working. I think Paul Espargaro was unfortunate. He possibly had a little bit of something to match Brad today, but I do agree with what Gav said. Just a little race rusty. So when you have to lay it all in the line, it's 10 tenths every single corner. You're not doing it every weekend. These guys do it 20 weekends, and they get used to riding over and above the limit. So Paul did have a little slip off, but Brad is able to execute, hit his markers, and he's back on form, isn't he? And we heard from Francesco, the work's ongoing for next year. They know they're not going to battle with the GP24 Ducatis this weekend at home. The Italian riders, they raise their game whenever they arrive here. So their expectations are quite level. They want to get through to Q2. They've done that. Then develop over the weekend, test on Monday, and then try and come back in a fortnight's time. And they're all working towards 2025. It's always an ongoing process.
One step at a time. So they are through to Q2, as indeed is Fabio Quartararo, 9th fastest yesterday. Let's catch up with their team boss then. Maya Marigali's with Steve Day.
Mayo, it's great to talk to you ahead of Q2. A crucial lap yesterday for Fabio to get through. You obviously had a positive test here, and you've brought it here to the race weekend. How's it going?
Yeah, it's going in one way good, the other way a bit less. But you know, at the moment for us to be in Q2 directly is an achievement. And yesterday we started the first session, and we thought, okay, better to stay calm because we came here. We started already with some data, and we expect also the other that the second session could be much faster. Actually, we were able to manage, and also we introduced new items here yesterday, and the rider liked, and basically we jump in Q2 directly with a bit of satisfaction.
Looking ahead to tomorrow's race with a good grid position here, Fabio's pace looks quite good. Is there a top 6 on the cards?
Yeah, you never know because you know, MotoGP races are unpredictable, and for sure starting from the at least 3rd row, and even if I hope for maybe slightly better, the race can change, can be different than what we are used to, and the pace he was able to show us in these 2 days is very good, and the grip is not. I mean, we are at the moment. It looks like we are managing also the drop of the rear soft tire quite decently, and yeah, I don't want to be too optimistic because I don't want to create also to myself any expectation, but yeah, for sure we start this race in a better mood than the last few.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Perhaps the pertinent words that Maya used there, you never know. But it is true that their qualifying has been letting them down, because perhaps their race results could have been much more flattering because their race pace has been quite good.
Yeah, the managing the expectation, because the race pace yesterday, you look at it on paper and you think, as Steve said, top 6 is on the cards, but then you know that Mayo's being a little bit optimistic, because I think Fabio will end up in the 4th row of the grid, and that's the reality of where they are. They can't extract these extra couple of tenths that Ducati could do, Aprilia can do, and KTM seem to be able to execute as well. So it puts him on the back foot, but his rhythm is so good. So there's definitely some light at the end of the tunnel for Yamaha, but it's just so frustrating at the moment where we know Fabio's a world title contender. He battled with Pecco just 3 seasons ago, and it's tough times for him, but he's digging deep, as are Yamaha, and there's definitely some positive progress this weekend with the new aero body.
Yeah, you're looking at the man there who has been fastest this week in Francesco Bagnaia, before we just go into the Pramac Ducati garage, where obviously championship leader Jorge Martin, he sits 3rd fastest across the weekend. I just want to mention Pedro Acosta, in case we don't get any shots of him. 6th fastest, and looking like he's up there in terms of the race pace. What do you think about qualifying today?
He looked good in the afternoon session, struggled in the morning, but he went straight out yesterday afternoon in the practice, led the way for the majority, didn't quite put it all together to match the Ducati, but he didn't expect to do so. So I think Pedro's got a real chance, and we know his race rhythm is always superior to his qualifying. So yeah, first 2 rows of the grid, I think would be a good result for Pedro Acosta today.
All right, so the clock started to tick. Let's head over to Neil and Gav. I'm guessing this is going to be a very tight one.
It feels like it, doesn't it, Susie? This track throughout the weekend, we just look at Moto2, there was about 2 tenths covering the top 14 going into their qualifying session later on this afternoon, and just then in Q1, extremely tight. It's a tough one to call here. We've had 6 different riders on pole position so far this year, but, for example, none for Pedro Acosta, as you mentioned there, Susie. None for Marco Bezzecchi, who came into this session fastest in the practice session this morning. So, Neil, which way do you see pole going in this next 15 minutes?
Well, the king of this track is Francesco Bagnaia. We know he had that big crash last weekend, but it's not holding him back. So I have to go with him. I think he can do a perfect lap round here. Look, we know Jorge Martin as well. He's the pole hound. He's always able to do an incredible lap, and we know Marc Marquez will risk everything. But I just feel like at this point in the championship, Bagnaia wants to try to swing the pendulum back into his favour. He has to start today's race from pole.
How many poles has he had this year? Quick.
2.
1.
Yeah.
All year, Pecco's only had 1 pole position. That was in Assen when he dominated the weekend. Jorge Martin's had 5.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like, look, this is his favourite track. It's his home track. This is the one you have to... He knows... Well, he says he can go around here blindfolded. So let's see that. Show us that. That's what Davide Tarlozzi's team manager will have been saying. Come on, now is your time.
Now is the time. His first flyer. We are on board with Pecco Bagnaia. It will probably be a second go at it. He's got a Ducati behind him in Grassini colours, but it's Alex Marquez who's behind him and Jack Miller behind the Spaniard.
Alex has got such a good wheel there because he's gone through Q1, so everything he's feeling comfortable, confident. He knows what the limit feels like, so why not get behind the man who knows the secrets and risk everything and see if he can pull you around? It's a smart move.
Tramonto, look at that, sliding his way down into turn 10. Trying to veer out that corner as much as possible.
Perfect, late apex, you saw him stand the bike up, and then he's got all that track to play with because he stood the bike up on the inside curb. They're the little secrets. That's what he does so well.
He pulled, you can see the distance that he pulled on Alex Marquez, can't you? Just as we drop down through these ever-decreasing radius corners, down into Currow Corner.
Yeah, they really fly between it all right now on the monitor, as my audio wasn't working, so that's why I wasn't there. Yeah, I got the sector times open. We had a bit of a freeze, so I couldn't get it off the monitor for a second. Bagnaia up towards the line then as Q2 is underway. Opening lap times see Bagnaia with a 1:30.928. Miller goes third. Alex Marquez to second. Martin's had his lap time cancelled by the stewards. Morbidelli moves up the order as well. Bastianini fourth, Binder fifth, Bezzecchi seventh, Acosta to second place. But the gap's still 0.3 of a second. So up and down there. Morbidelli also having his lap time cancelled for track limits out there on the monitor. So again, they're all sort of flying around here, aren't they? They're not 100% over the two. So Bagnaia's up in that first sector. 0.368 of a second between them as they continue through. Holding the line, holding the nerve as well. Bagnaia 0.351 up. Marc Marquez 0.2 up. Acosta as well. And now 61,000. So again, losing some sector times. All on medium front soft rear. It's a used soft rear though for Brad Binder that he had on in the previous session. Everybody else has gone for a new set of tyres. But Brad thinking that he can do it on an old soft rear. Maybe not giving him too much grip, but it's a banker lap time. He's still faster than several of the field so far. Here comes Bagnaia then into the last corner of Mazzano, up towards the line. And is it a good time? It's a 1:30.581 for Pecco Bagnaia. Marc Marquez also looking improving. This is Jorge Martin on his board. Marquez stays second. Martin goes ahead on a 1:30.645. So still about, well, hang on a minute. 64 thousandths of a second separate Bagnaia and Martin at the moment. Morbidelli goes up into 6th place. Acosta has gone 3rd. That kicks Marc Marquez to the 2nd row of the grid. Interesting little run around on this one. I thought we'd be having a lot more of a dueling between the two. Lap time canter for the 21 of Franco Morbidelli for exceeding track limits. And Morbidelli was 5th. Now he's been dropped right to the back with that lap time cancelled. Did actually drop to 6th place, but now he's gone back. Everyone now diving into the pit lane after the opening gambits. Bastianini might complete his lap time. Well, they've still got time to complete another one. They don't have to come in. Why Viñales came in, I do not know. 7 thousandths up for Bastianini. As they turn in. Controlling it as well. Front end not dipping at all for Quartararo. He's got that perfect. Bastianini again losing 0.2. Quartararo losing 3. Okay, are they going to start diving in then? into Mazzano. Let's see. No, they're going to complete the lap times. That's good news for us. Up to the line we go once again then here at Mazzano. And Bastianini 6th goes 4th. Quartararo to 7th. As several riders dive into the pits. In fact, Morbidelli is going to complete his lap time. He's a 10th down, so Morbidelli will be the last one. No, he's boxed. Box call for Franco Morbidelli. Well, that is a shame, to be fair. I was expecting differentials between the two. Now we've got the riders coming in after their opening lap times. They say back over to the boys, and we'll be back in shortly. But also, we shall open up, if I can get it working, the sector times as well.
Put it on Paul. We're at that point in the season where it's all about momentum and the psychology of I'm the man.
But of all the racetracks that we go to throughout the year, this is the one where you try and find that extra 100th of a second in a corner,
and you hear this,
and you're down,
and you know it. That's the reality as well. Go into turn 1, you trail brake, and you put a fraction more brake pressure, trying to pull it up to open up turn 2, and you're asking for it. You know you are though, but that's what you're going to have to do. Whoever sits on pole position today, the next 7 minutes will take those risks and get away with it. Do you think this man will?
Not risk takers, risk averse.
I don't think Mark's got the package underneath him. Look, he's 0.3 off. That's sort of the figure we talk about. That's the difference between the 24 Ducati and the 23 Ducati is about we reckon 0.3 of a second.
And also the difference between Bagnaia and Martin and the form they're in on that bike. They are neck and neck, and then the rest are just that little bit further back.
It might be track position could play a real good part in it. If you can get someone to follow through those fast right-hand corners, it really does help. It gives you a marker.
Maverick Vinales exits pit lane ahead of the two Gresini Racing Ducatis of Marc and Alex Marquez, as Julian Simon offers a bit of late advice there, as does Diego Gubellini to Fabio Quartararo. 7th at the moment.
Yeah, really
Fabio,
good.
who was bemoaning really the progress he made actually on a new soft tyre. He said it's not normal. It's not normal that we are not improving by as much as all the other riders, all the other factories.
He improves by a 10th or 2 maximum, and the others throw a fresh tyre in and find 0.4, 0.5. That is the difference. But he's got a new chassis this weekend. He said the bike feels much more agile, which is one of the recent complaints from the Yamaha riders.
And from the Fabio that we spoke to a couple of races ago, it feels like a bit more positivity, because he was a bit negative, Nigel, wasn't he?
Yeah, it gets tiring, doesn't it?
But it certainly feels like, you know, some of the comments he was saying yesterday that, okay, I'm starting to see the fruits. And I think it must have been at the start of the year for Fabio Quartararo. He was world champion here 3 years ago. You know, he celebrated down there in that corner with all the lights and pyrotechnics going off. And look at where he is now. And obviously that frustration gets a lot. But
yeah, well, Bagnaia's on a lap time. His first sector coming across is a 25.410. Second sector as well, looking faster. So it's definitely not over just yet between the two. Bagnaia, again, just holding that line. He's 54 thousandths up in that middle sector. So this is a much, much better time than we originally thought coming through. Just got to start holding that line and holding that nerve a little bit more as they continue to fly into turn 11. 12, 13 and 14 coming up as well. Third sector's quick as well. By how much? That's the question. 54 hundredths, 2/10 now for Bagnaia. So this is fantastic. A pole position could be coming. I said he'll be my sprint race winner pick. It's a circuit he loves. Into the last corner, continues, pulls that throttle back up towards the line. Is this pole position for Pecco Bagnaia? Answer, yes, it's a 1:30.304. Much, much, much better lap time coming. Like, seriously, such an impressive run across the line. And they're just keeping it together, keeping it calm, controlled, and that's what we like about it. Acosta, it's a 1:10.258. He stays in third position. Marc Marquez in P5. As they'll control it out again. Ooh, finally it's come on. Just a couple more places out on the circuit. Morbidelli to second place. 1:35.89. Oh, and down into the air fence has gone Marc Marquez. He has crashed. And I hope he's okay. He's holding his wrist a little bit. What's happened here? He's following Maverick Vinales. It's into, I think, turn 8. No, it's turn 15. He's gone down. Front buckles in on entry. And he slides through the gravel. The bike's wrecked. He, thankfully, should be okay. But Marc Marquez is down. And he's only going to start 7th. 3 minutes to go. He won't get back out on the circuit. He's tried once before here at Misano, crashing and running back into the pit lane. And he's holding, oh well, he's holding his gentleman's area as well a little bit there. So I hope he's okay. He did skid on the front, so I hope he's not damaged anything down there. And that's very, very painful as he was doing the Michael Jackson. Bezzecchi looking quick here. Could, he's 3/10 down. That could still put him in front row of the grid. But Marco Bezzecchi ahead of Jorge Martin. Bezzecchi's got the factory team. Well, he's moving over next year, isn't he? To a factory bike with the KTMs. Into the last corner we come then for Marco Bezzecchi. What's he got here in Rimini? Up towards the line. Is he quick? Is he the front row? Yes! 1:36.09. Marvellous lap time there. Here comes Pedro Acosta. This could put him second on the grid at the moment. 5th. 3.5 tenths down. Martin losing so much more time. Is anything going to be cancelled for a yellow flag? Marc Marquez is being driven in. So he might just get out on the circuit. I am not too sure. There's going to be one to watch, isn't it? Bastianini now improving on the sectors. Trying to hold that time. 46,000 down for Bagnaia. 5/10 down for Bastianini. So I don't think this is going to be a lap time improvement for anyone. It'll be a pick up and go manoeuvre. Yeah, they've backed out of their lap times. They're already... They will go again for another cycle. They've only got one more lap in them. Quartararo is pushing like crazy out here as well. We cannot have Mark getting injured again, says SHT. I agree with you. Caden says oh, and smiley face as well. We can't see well. I was at the sector times. Oh, yeah, that was earlier on. Sorry. That's because we had that problem. Hello from Indonesia. Hello. Shortcut for Bezzecchi. He's had his lap time cancelled. Morbidelli in second at the moment. And Pecco's come in. Pecco thinks he's done enough for pole position. He's come into the pit lane with 43 seconds to go. Let's see if that's going to be a time he is proud of to stay. Lap time cancelled for the Pietro Costa for track limits. Lap time cancelled for the 43 of Jack Miller for a shortcut. Bastianini on a lap time now. They're all starting their lap times. The final runs of this qualifying session. And Martin's rolled out of it. Martin's rolled out. He's gone straight on at turn 1. So has Franco Morbidelli. They will not set a better lap time. Wow. So it's all down to Bezzecchi and Acosta. Mark's back in the paddock with 5 seconds to go. So he's not going to do anything. He starts 9th at best. Checkered flag is out then for qualifying. Who's got the gumption needed for MotoGP's San Marino Grand Prix? Into the last corners, up towards the line, booting it hard, and Enea Bastianini goes 8th only. No improvement there. He's the first to take the checkered flag. Marquez and Bagnaia are already in the pit lane. They're confirmed 9th and 1st provisionally. Quartararo is 6/10 down. That's not going to improve him on the board. 5 seconds off. Quartararo's backed off. Acosta's off. Bezzecchi wants to get second position. He's going to try all he can towards the line. Up we go. Pushing hard. Marco Bezzecchi stays 3rd. Lap time cancelled for Pietro Acosta for track limits. So he loses out. Alex Marquez, 5/10 down. And he's just inside his own best, but he's not going to get ahead of Binder, so I think he's done as well. I think Alex is done. He's not doing anything. Pecco might have just got pole position here. And he was right not to go out again, it seems. Up towards the line for Alex Marquez. Stays 7th. So it looks like we have got the end of the session. Greetings from a hot Jakarta. Hello, Wuru as well coming in. Wow. A lot of love in Indonesia for the MotoGP and this stream as well. We always do. Can't wait to get back there to Indonesia in a couple of weeks' time. It feels like a home race. You lot over there watching in Indonesia as well always make us feel so welcome, and we can't wait to race there again soon. So this is Marc Marquez at turn 15 again. The penultimate corner turns in the front buckles. Exactly what happened to Bagnaia some years ago, actually. So it's Pecco Bagnaia who has pole position here in San Marino, followed by Franco Morbidelli on the front row with Marco Bezzecchi. 3 different Ducatis on that front row. Factory, Pramac and VR46. Jorge Martin takes row 2 alongside Pedro Costa and Brad Binder. Alex Marquez has row 3 with Enea Bastianini and Marc Marquez. Row 4 sees Fabio Quartararo, Maverick Vinales and Jack Miller. It's Pecco Bagnaia then who has pole position for the San Marino Grand Prix. We'll be back for the sprint at 1:50 British Summer Time. Next up, it's Moto E, and that is going to be on JB Motorsports 2. Thanks for your company. We'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.